12th of November 2018, shortly after leaving the Tomb of the Star where Tengen resides, Maki made her way over to the Zenin family estate to collect some new curse tools. Obviously, this is under the permission of the new clan head, Megami. After entering a hallway that led to the warehouse, Maki was screamed at by her mother, but she simply ignored her and moved on. Using the key, Maki unlocks the door and makes her way into the warehouse. However, upon arrival, she's surprised to see that it's been cleared out of all weapons. The only thing that remains are her father Ogi Zenin and the clearly injured Mai lying in her own blood behind him. Without speaking, Ogi stands up, takes his fighting stance and activates Falling Blossom Emotion in preparation to one-shot his strongest daughter. The reason Mai hadn't been finished off yet was so that she could be used as a bargaining chip to combat any unknown curse tools Maki might have. Throwing her coat back and pulling out the curse tool, Dragon Bone, Maki slowly walks her father down. The cool thing about Juzo's masterpiece is that it has the added ability to accumulate curse energy and shoot it out of the back when the user chooses. Maki simply plans to feign engaging in a single strike duel while fully intending to strike a second or third time. Just before he grabs his blade, Ogi asks if she knows why Naobito was chosen as the head of the clan and not him, to which she assumes it was because he was a douche willing to hurt his own kids. Fed up, Ogi unsheaths his katana just as Maki flips her blade into a reverse grip. Darting in, Ogi slashes at her abdomen, but Maki effortlessly deflects the strike before letting go of the blade and using the momentum generated to let it flick into her other hand. Suddenly, curse energy erupts from the back of the blade, propelling Maki's slash forward with such great force that it snaps her father's blade in two. With the old-timer stunned, Maki attempts to take advantage and wraps him behind, getting in close enough to deliver an upward slash. Actually having predicted all of this, Ogi uses curse energy to reinforce his muscles, blocking her strike and giving him an opening. Instantly spinning around while his daughter was still mid-swing, Ogi tears his curse energy infused blade up, slashing her right eye before whipping it back down and cutting the lower part of her body pretty much in half. Standing there stunned for a moment, Maki questions how it was she's been slashed when the blade of the katana broke. Pretty much, Two topped off his broken blade with dense curse energy that imitated a normal sword tip. While crying from the shame of not becoming the head of the clan, Ogi reveals that the reason Naobito was chosen over him was because his girls are both worthless. Victorious, Ogi drags his twin girls' bleeding bodies to a chamber meant for discipline and training. Once again, he states that he did not become the Zenin head because of his daughters. It has, and always will be, the quality of his children that held him back, and children must not hold their parents back. Reaching the room, Ogi tosses his daughters from the top of the stairs, letting their limp bodies smash against the concrete floor on the way down. Inside of the room, he explains that the Zenin family has kept countless cursed spirits of grade 2 and below here. Turning his back on the daughters that stained so much of his later life, Ogi leaves the room. Awake, but too injured to move, Mai doesn't give up on Maki and notices that she still has a pulse. Joking that she really did suspect this would happen someday, Mai leans down and kisses her sister on the lips. Suddenly waking up with her back against the sand, Maki can only listen as Mai explains how her technique construction worked. She's known for a very long time why twins are considered bad luck inside of the sorcerer world. They don't operate in the same manner to normal sorcerers. Instead, curse techniques treat twins as one individual. And because of that, Mai is Maki, and Maki is Mai. It doesn't matter how hard Maki works in order to become strong, because Mai never wanted to get stronger herself. So as long as she's around, Maki will never fully develop. By sacrificing herself though, Mai can take away all of Maki's curse energy and greatly improve the heavenly restriction that was placed on her at birth. In return, Mai only asks that her big sister promise her one thing: destroy everything. Suddenly, the lavender Maki was grasping vanishes, leaving in its place Mai's last creation. Waking up, Maki opens her eyes and immediately begs for her sister to wake up. With her not moving, Maki just holds her tight as all of the curses begin surrounding her. Randomly from the hall nearby, Ogi feels the number of curses drop to 0. In an instant, he turns around only to see an explosion of something mythical beaming through the darkness. Grasping his sword handle as he watches his daughter place Mai up against a wall, he knows that his body remembers this feeling, no matter how hard he tried to forget it. This fear, aura identical to the god of men, Toji Zenin. In response, Ogi throws up his full strength and activates Technique Release, Blazing Courage, encircling himself in scorching flames. Pointing his burning blade forward, he threatens to burn his daughter to the bone with his very own hands. However, before Bro even realizes what happens to him, Maki whips in and slices the dude's head in two with a single slash. Outside, an alarm bell sounds out, alerting everyone inside of the Zenin Clan estate. Rushing down a hallway, Ranta informs the boys that Maki has gone mad and sent her dad to meet Yamayugi. Nearby, Nobuaki, captain of the Kukuru unit, tells his men that it's most likely Maki would have taken out Ogi on the bed or in the toilet. Stopping, he demands they find and seize her before he arrives. The captain also orders his men to not kill her, planning to finish her himself. The Kukuru unit is actually made up of only males inside of the Zenin clan that do not possess curse techniques. Joining is compulsory, and due to it being a lower branch of the Hei, its members undergo training day and night. Maki in the past was the first female member until she entered Jujutsu High. Rushing into the Ton room, the Kukuru unit announce a visual confirmation of Maki and 2 unidentified curse tools in her hands. In an instant, the 20 men quickly move to surround her, but she remains unfazed with her eyes completely shut. Instead, as she stands there, the questions people previously asked her run throughout her mind. Then, for one final time, she apologizes to Mai, before remembering how she promised to destroy everything. Furiously opening her eyes as the first victim approaches, Maki tears her blade up in a flash, severing both of his hands, literally and physically disarming the man. With him cooked, she hits a bonnet roll off his back, allowing her to intercept another fighter running towards her from a different angle. Brutally, she slashes the top of his head clean off before turning around and decapitating the man that she just previously disarmed. A sorcerer armed with 2 knives attempts flanking Maki, but our girl ruins his day by shanking him in the back. Simultaneously, she hits another with a devastating upward slash from Dragonbone. Activating the sword's ability, Maki uses the curse energy propelled jets to increase Dragonbone's cutting power, brutally finishing off the bozo. Letting go of Dragonbone, Maki turns the lights off on another dude before jumping up and kicking another sorcerer trying to attack her from behind. The force of the kick is so damn strong that it spins the man's head around and sends him straight to 0 HP. Maki then mounts his body in an instant, wrapping her legs around his head before bending backwards into a handstand in order to avoid an attack from behind. While she does this, she also shanks the same dude who just missed his attack on her. Dropping down to the floor with her blade still in the other guy, she scurries along and uses one of the knives from the Kukuru unit to slash at the remaining dude's calf muscle. Walking into the room, Nobuaki asks how it's all going, only to hear the last man of his squad cry out as he meets his demise. Looking down from above, all he sees are his men's bodies brutally slashed apart and lying around Maki, who doesn't have a single scratch on her. Suddenly, Maki feels a mass increase in curse energy coming from some old gooner nearby. Fractions of a second later, the entire building is sent hurtling into the air as 2 monstrous brick arms rise up through it. Maki, surprisingly here, predicted the attack and jumped first. However, the rock hands quickly catch her and clap their palms together in an attempt to smash her. Down below, Nobuaki recognizes the arms as Chojiro's curse technique, and upon seeing Junichi land in front of him, announces that the Hei have arrived. The Hei are composed of the strongest sorcerers inside of the Zenin clan, all holding a rank of semi-grade 1 or higher. This includes Junichi, Ranta, and Chojiro, who have all come to put an end to Maki's rampage. Bringing them back to reality though, the gigantic stone arms holding Maki erupt as she makes an escape, surprising Nobuaki. In a flash, Maki rockets down the giant rock arms, and seeing her, Chojiro tries to deliver a flying roundhouse kick, but Maki deflects it with her right hand while simultaneously using her sword to block a slash from Nobuaki's katana. Nobuaki tries to follow up with another attack, but Maki drops her weapon and instead opts for a light speed cross jab that sends both of the Hei members stumbling back. Activating his own technique, Ranta lands his gaze on Maki and locks her in place. Ranta calls out for Junichi, who tries to capitalize on the situation by rushing Maki down while she can't move. However, Maki quickly regains her movement and rips her way out of the immobilizing aura of curse energy. To fully regain her mobility, Maki pushes her way past the pair of metaphysical eyes, cracking them until they're destroyed. This actually causes major backlash to Ranta's body, sort of like Inumaki with his cursed speech, causing his real eyes to get crushed and bleed profusely. Junichi turns around, concerned with his little bro, but Ranta tells him to keep pushing forward. He believes the current Zenin clan only exists because of the unforeseen consequences behind Toji's death. He tells Junichi that Maki has become the same as him. Determined to preserve the family though, he calls out for Junichi to kill Maki right here, right now, before it's too late. Junichi leaps into the air and activates his curse technique, raining down gigantic missile-like fists propelled by jets of curse energy. Numerous gigantic fists crash into the area where Maki is, decimating the estate with a barrage of massive jet-powered punches. Ranta collapses to his knees and succumbs to his injuries, ultimately believing that Junichi actually defeated Maki, even dying with a smile on his face. However, Maki walks out of the dust and smoke, completely unharmed and carrying the head of her defeated family member. Rolling up late as usual, dude just, he honestly probably didn't want to fight her, just in time to see Maki tossing the bozo's dome into the koi pond. Naoya calls Maki cruel. Standing there, he asks if she even has a heart, but she replies that Mai took it with her. So, breaking away for a moment for Naoya to have a quick goon over himself, bro knows he's a genius. Everyone told him he'd be the next head after his father. He heard about the black sheep, the person inside of their clan who doesn't have an ounce of curse energy. Laughing, he thought it must feel awful. They must look so pitiful. Coming face to face with the god of men though in the past, Toji Zenin, Naoya's entire world was shook in that moment. Zapping back to reality as Naoya activates projection sorcery, bro delivers 11 differing hand strikes. However, Maki is easily able to counter every single one. Sliding in and grabbing her arm, Naoya traps Maki inside an animation frame. Spinning into a kick, Naoya lands a brutal kick to her gut that sends her smashing through several large boulders. Don't know why there are just like random boulders placed around the Zenin household, but yeah, okay. While Maki is still in the air, reeling from the blow, Naoya whips around on the ground behind her at blinding speed to deliver another attack. This time he hits her with a flying roundhouse kick that sends her smashing into the side of a cliff. Laying there, seemingly unhurt by it though, Maki just continues to count the number of attacks. Slowly falling down towards her, Naoya knows that Maki's power has become similar to that of Toji's, but he refuses to acknowledge her as anything like him. Launching out of the crater, Maki tries to form some distance, but Naoya hits her again at high speed, sending her flying. Before she hits the ground, Naoya intercepts her path and grabs her leg. Bringing her down, he slams her into a cliffside, dragging her across the stone as it breaks apart before throwing her clean through a boulder. Despite getting tossed through another large rock, Maki quickly manages to regain her footing. Maintaining his own blistering speed, Naoya circles around the other side of the shattered stone and delivers a high-speed blow directly to her head. As Maki begins to bleed from the side of her head, she realizes the situation is now getting worse for her. While projection sorcery does not allow the user to ignore the laws of physics and has an upper limit to it, the technique can still be used to build speed over time. Remembering his own mistakes that he made against Choso, and now moving well beyond the speed of sound, Naoya zips around the battlefield. He knows that strength is weight and speed, so using that, he plans to strike directly through his opponent at top speed. Clapping her hands together and moving into the Shiranui Gata stance, Maki welcomes his embrace. In exchange for Mai's sacrifice, Maki has gained a body of steel that is broken away from curse energy. However, she's still injured from her previous fight against Ogi, and is aware she's at a disadvantage fighting Naoya while he's moving at this velocity. Tearing through the sound barrier, Naoya changes direction and locks up with Maki. Jolting forwards, Maki prepares to absorb the blow, but Naoya suddenly darts around the side of her, slapping the back of her arm instead. In Jujutsu, when the palm of someone activating projection sorcery touches an opponent, that person must also move at 24 frames per second. If they fail, they are frozen in place for exactly 1 second. Still moving at top speed, Naoya circles behind Maki while believing that she's frozen in place. He knows she was planning to stop him from moving at top speed, even if it meant breaking her own ribs. He refused to fall for the bait and says Maki really is just an imposter. However, just before Naoya reaches her, Maki stuns him and turns around, surprising Naoya. With her fist just feet from his dome, she reveals to him that she figured out the 24 frame rule. As his momentum naturally draws his face closer to Maki's punch, Naoya attempts to call her an imposter. Bro's really been playing too much freaking Among Us these days, but like in the game, his words are interrupted when Maki smashes his face into the ground. Standing over the final boss of the Zenin clan, Maki leaves Naoya's face brutally mangled and mocks him, asking to repeat whatever he was trying to say. After defeating Naoya, Maki goes to confront her mother. Her mother is just far too frantic to have a conversation with her, and he yells at Maki to stay away. Keeping to her promise though to destroy everything, Maki, I'm assuming here, took her mother's own life, or at least, slices her up. Somehow still alive himself, Naoya stumbles around the property, bleeding from his face until he falls over through a door into a house. He mocks Maki for not finishing him off, laughing at the audacity of it. Suddenly, the creak of wooden floorboards run through his ears, and he turns to see Maki's mother standing behind him, holding a steak knife. Naoya claws at the floor, unable to use his cursed energy, left virtually defenseless as the woman who brought Maki into this world stabs him in the back. Satisfied with this outcome, Maki and Mai's mother admits to herself that, in the end, she's proud to have given birth to the twins. According to the official record, those from the Zenin clan who were absent on November the 12th all suffered violent deaths shortly after. This included 6 members of the Hei and 21 members of the Kukuru unit. No residuals were found other than a small trace amounts from an unidentified curse tool. Days later, the Gojo and Kamo clans proposed removing the Zenin clan from the big 3 Jujutsu families. But if you've read Modulo by now, you know that never actually came into fruition. That there actually brings us to the very end of Jujutsu Kaisen's clan genocide. Definitely hints of Itachi wiping out the OG clan thrown into this beautiful piece here. The pure domination from Maki is just class, and it's dope to see any kind of come up like that in anime or manga. With what Map has done so far for season 3, like the quality was insane on those first 2 episodes. I just know this is going to slap so hard when it does get animated. In the meantime, I hope this scratched the itch that you had for seeing Maki absolutely dominate her entire clan. I can't wait to see more from Naoya as well, just in general. Dude's goated. Plus, I love how his VA can't fathom the things that he says and even apologizes publicly, on Twitter for it, which is crazy. But who cares what you're saying? It's some random ass story. Either way, remember to subscribe and leave a like if you are new around here, as it really helps in pushing my content to a bunch of new amazing people. But for now, it's been your professional degenerate Diavolo, and I will see you all in a bit. Bye.